We're gonna do a fucking movie review, which we have tried a few times and it didn't fucking work out the way we wanted to. So here we are at Clayton Cogswell's house at 1 in the fucking morning, doing a goddamn review show for you. Okay, so the movie I reviewed is Maniac. When I sat down and watched this movie, I thought I was watching the 1980s William Lustig film that he made, where he actually made a few classics: Maniac Cop, Maniac Cop 2, and Maniac Cop 3. When I watched this movie, it was not the William Lustig's movie. It was a remake by Frank Kaufman, whatever his name is. He directed it, and it looks like an 80s film, feels like an 80s film. It has 80s music in it, but it's not an 80s movie at all. It's shot like in 2012. Okay, so this movie starts out and like it looks like when you first started watching it, it looks like, oh shit, here's another found footage film, because it's like you're doing a POV shot, so you see people walking about and it's the camera's moving and no real lighting, and you're like, oh shit, I gotta watch another one of these movies. But guess what? It's not, because you start going into it. All of a sudden you see like all the camera moves and you see eyes in the mirror, and it's really creative, and it's like, okay, it's a POV of this person that I'm watching. And so he's watching these two girls, and they're getting in a cab, and they're fucking slutty little bitches, but pretty. And one of them's like, oh, hey, Betty, why don't you come and share the cab with me? And Betty's like, no, I don't wanna, I'm gonna walk in this dark alley. Meh. And so they say goodnight, and she fucking takes off, and she's like fucking walking. All of a sudden, this goddamn guy comes up and starts hassling her. He's like, hey, baby, why don't you come home with me? She's like, off, asshole. And his friends are laughing. Why don't you want to come with us? I don't know. So she's fucking walking. All of a sudden, the camera starts moving, and we're in a fucking car. And it's moving, and it's following her. And she like notices, like this, and she starts kind of running. And then you hear the voice, and it's like, don't worry, Betty, I know where you live. And fucking takes off, man. And all of a sudden, we have like 10 fucking minutes of establishing shots and fucking credits. Which is kind of classic, because back in the 80s, that's what you fucking had. You had all these establishing shots with fucking credits, with the best boy and the uncles, nephews, and the whatever shit is there, and no one fucking cares about. But that's what you have. So you get through the 10 minutes of credits and establishing shots. All of a sudden, we're in an apartment building, and he's like, you see hands, and you see, and he cuts these wires. The lights go out, and then you hear the Betty coming up. And, hey, Snoozy, she's talking on her cell phone. Yeah, I'm home safe here. Okay. And she hangs up the phone. She's like, oh, lights. And she's like, turning around and has her phone up and finds her door. She starts unlocking it. All of a sudden, you hear the breathing, because he's up really close. Like, and she turns around, and all of a sudden you just hear, don't scream. And she's like, and all of a sudden, he shoves a goddamn knife through her throat, up her head, and blood. All of a sudden, the big credits. Boom! Maniac. Holy shit. We are in for a fucking thrill ride of our goddamn lives. Okay. So all of a sudden, we cut to this waking up to a woman, and he kisses her, and he gets up, and he like starts typing, and it's a like a dating service thing, and he sees this girl, and he's like, oh hey Red, and then you see the image of this person, and it's Elijah Wood himself. Elijah Wood, cute little kid from Flipper, North, Lord of the Frodo Rings, man. He's the serial killer of the movie. What is that? Who hires Elijah Wood to kill women. It doesn't make any sense. But to his credit, he is creepy as shit in this goddamn movie. Because it keeps going, and he's got these eyes that you, and all you see is his eyes, because you only see his POV, so you only see in the mirror, and you'll see him, and that's all you see of him. So he goes on this date with this woman. She's red hair, and she's talking. She's all tattooed up, and we learn really quickly that Elijah Wood has headaches all the time. So he's taking these pills, and she's like, is something wrong? Is something wrong? He's like, everything's okay. Everything's okay. And he turns, and all of a sudden, everyone in the restaurant is looking at him. So it's just foreshadowing shit. Obviously, no one was staring at him. He's out of his goddamn mind, right? So he takes his goddamn pills. It goes on his date. All of a sudden, they're in the car. They're at her apartment. He somehow has told her that he is a journalist, even though you always see his fists, and they're cut up like I don't know what he did, like put them in glass or something. Like, you don't have hands like all carved up, and you're a journalist. You don't what happened? So this woman, why is she even with this guy? And in his van, it's covered with mannequins. In his van, he has mannequins everywhere. And this goddamn woman is in the car, like flirting with him, ready to go to her apartment. So they go over there, and she's like putting on the music, and he's like, I'm dancing. And then she goes, it's like, I'll be right back. And she comes back, and she's in this bikini, underwear shit, and she's like, I just want to get something more comfortable. And all of a sudden, she's like getting naked and dancing with him, and they're on a bed, and then you see this great shot where it's a mirror. So all of a sudden, you see Elijah Wood just sitting there, and she's like starting to go down on him, getting all sexy, and Elijah Wood's just kind of like, it's like going crazy, and then grabs her neck and just like, oh, you like it rough, baby? He's like, fucking kills the goddamn bitch, man. She's fucking dead. And she was really nice to him. I don't even understand why he killed her. Like, she was like giving him a blowjob. She was gonna fucking give him sex, and then he killed her before he even finishes anything. Fucking kills her. So obviously, and I think he said something, not again, and blah, blah, blah. And he's not a methodical serial killer, because he's throwing up all over the place. Fingerprints, he's barely even cleaning shit up. He's gonna get caught. You can't do any of that. Like Dexter, he's methodical, he knows what he's doing, cleans his mess up. Cuts him up in bodies and puts it in the river, you never see him. This guy's loony bin. Okay, so all of a sudden we find out that he owns this mannequin shop that his mother has left him, which apparently at this day and age, mannequin shops make money. I don't know how he even has this. I mean, this warehouse is huge. The rent on that thing, you're looking at $4,000 to $6,000 a month, especially at this day and age, for crying out loud. So I don't even know where he's getting the money to pay the goddamn rent. Whatever. He's there, and this woman is like taking pictures outside, and he like goes out, he's like, can I help you? And it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was just taking pictures of your mannequins, it's so beautiful. And he's like, all of a sudden, oh, come in, look at my mannequins. Oh, wow, they're so beautiful. And also you find out she's this French artist, and she's taking all these pictures, and she needs these mannequins for her fucking art gallery. And he's like, guess what? I have tons of mannequins. I can help you. So here's the part of the movie. He's gonna help her do this. While they're becoming friends and starting this romantic, I don't know, whatever, he's falling for her. And while he's doing this, he's killing other women. You know, women that are beautiful. And here's one thing I think they got right with this movie, because it reminds me of the 80s. They did show nudity, and the boobs, they were real. And I like that. They ain't saying or anything, but they were real, and they were bouncy, and they weren't fake. Because that's when the 80s, that's what they did. They didn't have any fake boobs. You had fucking real women boobs, breasts that moved and jiggled. There's nothing wrong with that. So anyway, he's like killing more women. Oh, in the music. The music was perfect. It reminded me of the 80s. I felt like this was an 80s film, pretty much the whole thing. And they did step up on the realistic of the kills. Like, it was so realistic. Like, I was just kind of like, the whole time, like, he was like, I even forgot to tell you what he does with the goddamn bodies. He fucking cuts the scalps. He scalps these women. So he cuts the hair and pulls it back. And you fucking see everything. Blood comes out, the scalp comes out, and he's like, ah! And he puts it on a fucking mannequin. And when he's at home, these women come to life in his head. So they're fucking talking to him. So obviously he's fucking crazy. He's fucking out of his goddamn mind. So he's there. So he's killing the women. He's got that woman that he's falling in love with. They go on a date. All of a sudden, he gets another goddamn headache. So he's like, I gotta go. Are you okay? Are you okay? He fucking flees out of there. The night of the gallery, he finally goes up. He gets up dressed up nice. We don't see what he wears. The reason I mention this because this is the one time I actually laugh in the fucking movie, which I don't think the filmmakers intentionally made this, but it's really funny. So he's there and he realizes that she has a boyfriend, and the boyfriend is this handsome black man, and he follows him in the bathroom, and you're like, oh, he's gonna kill him. He's gonna kill this motherfucker. Anyway, the guy turns around and he's like what you see? And he's like, huh? What? He's like, yeah, you know, my girlfriend, she's always liking her friends gay. And he's like, I'm not gay. You know, he didn't say that. He was just like gay. So that black guy like totally embarrasses him. He walks out. The black guy walks out, which is kind of awesome because he doesn't kill him. And let's face it, in most horror movies, the black guy usually dies. It's just a fact. This is just a fact that happens. But he didn't. He's f***ing cool, he's good looking, and he f***ing embarrasses Elijah Wood. And then he f***ing leaves, and then Elijah Wood looks in the mirror, and guess what? He's f***ing wearing a turtleneck and a velvet f***ing jacket, and he looks gay. I'm sorry, he looks f***ing gay. He's like, I'm not gay. He says that in the mirror. I laughed my ass off when I saw that. I probably shouldn't have laughed there. I don't think it was intentional. But anyway, long story short, he f***ing kills this girl that he likes, Agent. Just kills her. Because you want to know why? Because it reminds him of his mother, who we find out earlier that his mother was flashbacks. You find out that he was a f***ing, his mom was a cokehead and would bring guys home, and he would be in a closet and he would watch them have threesomes or foursomes, and apparently she was still able to f***ing have a stable mannequin shop, which I don't still f***ing understand how you do that. But anyway, he finds this woman that reminds him of his mother, and he's like, you'll never take me, or you'll never leave me now. And he f***ing rips her head off, and f***ing all of a sudden, the next day, this girl that he likes is obviously upset because her agent has died. He invites himself over. She goes there. Her friend's there, who is obviously gay. And there's another joke too. The friend was like saying, hey, I gotta get up early. And Elijah was, why? He's like, oh, I got a commercial. He didn't say commercial. He said something like, I don't know, some industry term. And Elijah's like, oh, I don't know what that is. Like, totally douchey actor thing to say. So you're like, I hope this guy dies. So he leaves, right? And the girl is there, and they're like getting along, and then all of a sudden he splits out that I know the woman your agent only lived like 3 blocks away. How did he know that? All of a sudden the girl catches on. She knows. She's trying to get him out. Well, she can't get him out. They fight. The guy comes in. He fights. Elijah Wood kills him with a cleaver. The cleaver cuts him right here. He goes right here, and the guy doesn't die, man. He gets up and he fights him. How do you know he does that? You get a cleaver here, you're instantly dead. You don't get up from that. but this guy did. So anyway, they're fucking going at it, and they end up outside, and she finally fucking gets in a car, and she's like, yeah, help, run him over, and they run Elijah Wood over, and you see, because this is all POV, so you see the camera go, and you see feet, and he lands, man, and the car goes, and she goes out of control, hits a bank, and boom, she flies out the window. It's amazing. These effects in this movie are phenomenal. So he runs, and he's like, gets over there and finds her, and you're like, oh no, she's got to get out of this. She doesn't get out of it, man. But luckily they don't show it, because the next scene they show this amazing scene. He's in the bedroom with all these mannequins, and they come alive, and they tear him apart, literally ripping his intestines, his face, and that's the end of the goddamn movie. Elijah Wood in a goddamn closet with cops coming in, and he's just sitting there with his face torn off like this. Dead. That was a goddamn crazy ass movie. The next day I woke up with a goddamn headache. And I had to go on the subway, and I'm like, freaking me out, man. Like, I thought I was I was disturbed for a week and a half. I couldn't sleep. I had headaches for a goddamn week. This bullshit, man. But it's a pretty good movie. So if you want to, I suggest seeing that thing. It's intense, and it will get your heart pumping. And there was a lot of spoilers there. I'm sorry, but that's how I do the review. Okay, if you want me to review your movie, you can, I don't care, put a comment. And if it gets upvotes, we'll put it on our Facebook page. And you know what? If it has 1,000 upvotes, and I go look at it, and it's a movie that A, I can't find, or B, doesn't exist on Amazon or Netflix, I'm probably not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna go to a pawn shop or find the last Blockbuster to rent your goddamn movie. So make sure it's a movie that is easily to be found, okay? It's just easier that way, but I'll watch it for you, and then I will review it here on the show every Monday. And Tuesday we'll announce the winner of the next thing or whatever. We'll it. That's the movie.